everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I am sitting here currently waiting to pick my daughter up, and I have some free time, so I figured why not film an update of how everyone's doing now that we have been living in Nicaragua for over 3 months. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Allison. I currently post content on this channel surrounding our relocation from Canada to beautiful San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua. If you're interested in that kind of content, the subscribe button is down below, and I also leave my Instagram in case you'd like to follow us in real true time. It's kind of awkward filming sitting on the street, so if you see a lot of jump cuts, it's just because people are walking by and I'm talking to myself, and I'm not quite used to that. But anyways, I've had a number of people ask me how we're doing, how the adjustment has been, how is everybody settling in now that we've been here for several months. And I do have a continued long list of videos that I plan to film, but this one wasn't on my list, and I figured this is kind of important. We've been living here now for a while, and I figured I would just share with you guys like how we're adjusting, things that are different, how the kids are doing, just how we're doing in general. Okay, so this is going to be in no particular order, just kind of things that pop into mind. And one of the biggest things that is obviously different from living in Canada is the climate. It's hot here. It's a beautiful 31 degrees the majority of the year. I think it gets down to like 25 at night and hits a high of 32, and it stays consistent all year round. There are 2 seasons here, a rainy season and a dry season. We just finished the rainy season, which actually was not that rainy at all, and we are now in the dry season, which is very similar to the rainy season. I just haven't seen any even slight bit of rain in, I don't know, several weeks now. But I am happy to report that I feel like we're very much acclimatizing. I wore a hoodie the other day. Mind you, it was like a lightweight t-shirt hoodie, and I wore it with shorts. And I didn't wear it necessarily because I was cold. It's just that I'm getting so used to it that when there's like more of an overcast day, I don't get hot at all. And so I wore this hoodie around town like the majority of the day and was totally fine. And that's when it really sunk into me that, wow, I am really have gotten used to this climate and the weather, and yeah. So I wanted to report that right off the bat. I think the person in our family that got hit the hardest with climate change is Riley, and that is because she's our middle daughter, because she is autistic and obviously has a lot of sensory issues, and heat is one of those. Yeah, so far so good. She has come so far. She's actually the only one now that uses air conditioning at night. When we all moved here, we all used air conditioning because we obviously weren't used to it, and now none of us feel the need to use it. During the day we have like the windows open with the screens and the fresh air, and no one really feels the need to use air conditioning except for Riley, which I find really just unique and different, because we're getting used to it. And Riley, when we first got here, cranked her AC way up, and I'll talk about electricity farther in this video, but yeah, had it cranked all the time, and now she's at the point where she's really only using it at night and sometimes throughout the day, but is not cranked to the level that it used to be. And even just like taking her out and about during the day, I mean, she horseback rides all the time and is definitely not being affected by the heat the way that she was when we first moved here. All right, so I just got word that my daughter will be ready in 5 minutes, so I guess you're gonna see a scenery change, and I will finish this when I get home. But the next thing I wanted to talk about was bugs, because that is also a very stark contrast from where we used to live in Canada. Is just the number of bugs, the type of bugs, things like that. Honestly, I was prepared for a lot worse than we dealt with. Like, I thought we would need bug spray and that we'd be getting bitten all the time, and that, you know, I was just thinking like mosquitoes and flies. I don't know what I was thinking, but on one hand, on the good hand, that's not the issue. I mean, if we stay out past sunset and we don't have like the fans on our deck going, because that seems to keep the mosquitoes away, even if we don't have them going, it's not that bad. But if we have the fans going, like, we really don't have any issues at all. I haven't had to use bug spray once. My kids have used it a couple of times if they're doing like a camp that's deep in the forest, or if she's going on a trail ride deep in the forest, because then they're more prone to get bit by mosquitoes. But just like general day-to-day life, not an issue with bugs. However, we have had to encounter some other creatures that we're not used to in our Canadian life, and one of those being scorpions and the other one being tarantulas. I'm not a spider person. I don't know many people who are spider people, but oh my goodness. So yeah, I saw my first full-grown tarantula the other day. Mind you, we are doing construction So like we're doing an addition onto our house, so I definitely think that's stirring up a lot of things that you wouldn't typically see. So yeah, I've seen one tarantula. Luckily it wasn't in the house. I have seen probably about 10 scorpions at this point. The majority of them have been dead. However, I have seen a few alive, and I have seen a few in our house. So that was obviously scary. I yelled for my husband to get rid of the scorpion, but other than that, we haven't really had any issues. I still don't know how they got in the house. Like I said, I think the construction has something to do with it, but like general day-to-day life, walking around town, the beaches, at the schools, anything like that, you're not just gonna like walk into a tarantula or a scorpion, but they do exist. They are a thing. I haven't seen any snakes yet, although I know those are a thing too. I think these more if you're like heading into the jungle, you'll encounter these things more. But the monkeys, not that those are an insect, but they absolutely make up for it. I want to catch a monkey. I want a monkey friend. Is that weird? I don't know. I don't think they want to be caught, but they absolutely make up for it. I love the monkeys. And the sea turtles, oh my goodness, they lay their eggs on the beach, and then the little sea turtles go towards the sea. I haven't seen it in like in person yet, but I definitely plan to. So that's another cool perk of living here. And sloths, the kids' school actually have a few sloths that live on the property, so they get to see them daily, which I think is super cool. Sloths they're just so funny. They're funny looking. But yeah, that's the update on bugs. I'm gonna go get my daughter, and then I will continue this video at home. Okay, I am back home now, and let's not even talk about my hair because I've decided that I hate it. And now I have to wait for it to grow out. But at least I can say I tried short hair at one point in my lifetime. Anyways, okay, so I have a list here on my computer of stuff that I thought I would, you know, add to this video as far as how we're doing. Another big change that I have definitely noticed from living in Canada is just the level of like daily dust, I guess. Dust, sand, dirt, whatever it might be, is definitely more than in Canada, that is for sure. We don't have carpet, everything is like tile type flooring, and if I don't keep on top of it daily, every other day, it accumulates so fast. And mind you, we do leave our like screen doors open, like I said, for the breeze and whatnot. We are up higher, so we do encounter less dust. If you're down more in the town where there's like dirt roads and things like that, people there really deal with it. But yeah, just something I wanted to note. Definitely have to stay on top of the floors, or dust does accumulate. And then, like I mentioned earlier in the video, electricity. I don't know if I've mentioned this in a video or not yet, I can't remember, but electricity here is one of the most expensive places to live as far as electricity goes, and we have definitely noticed that as part of our new construction that we're building, because we're expanding on our house. We are putting in solar, and we are very excited about that because that's going to take care of a lot of the issues we have with electricity currently. So yeah, in the beginning we were definitely paying a lot, because like I said, just getting acclimatized to the hot environment, air conditioners were running more frequently, and just being less conscious of electricity in general since living here. Like, we've really learned what electrical things that we need. Like, we turn off washers. I don't use the dryer at all, but when the washer's not being used, like, we'll turn it off, things like that. Lights, we're just more conscious. And then obviously because we're using less air conditioning, our bill has come down, but it is definitely more expensive than living in Canada. So I thought I would throw that in this video because that has definitely been a change. What else did I want to talk about? The people I could just make a whole video about how wonderful the people are here that we have met, at least in general. Like, the locals are just so helpful, so friendly, and just overall welcoming. I've never at any point felt like I wasn't wanted, or I was out of place, or I don't know how to describe it, but just like walking through town, I've never felt unsafe in any way. I've had a lot of comments about that, and maybe I can make a whole video on the safety here in Nicaragua and San Juan del Sur specifically, but I've never had any safety issues, never even had like the slightest hint of feeling uncomfortable at any point during any of my travels throughout the town. And anybody we've hired to do anything has just been so, I don't know, grateful for the job, first of all, and going above and beyond, and just incredibly helpful. Like I said, I want to make a video on our cuidador, our caretaker, Jose. He's just, I mean, At first, when we first moved here, I was like, I don't think we need a caretaker. Like, we've never had one before, but that's very common. It's a very common thing here. And I'm so glad that we decided to go and stay with him for a while. Again, we just thought we'd have him for a year. It might be helpful during construction and whatnot, but honestly, we're gonna keep him indefinitely because he's like become a member of our family, like this little, I don't know, this helper. He has kids of his own that visit sometimes and they play with our kids. He takes care of our garden, our pool. He can run errands. He does projects for me. He's just, I don't know, anything that we've been unsure about, like just obviously learning new things and procedures in town and how to pay bills and how the cell phone plans work and everything like that. Even though we have a language barrier, although I am getting better at Spanish, it's just been priceless having him. And yeah, I just wanted to mention, in town, just generally everyone we've encountered has been really, really amazing. And then I thought I would just go through person by person because I know people are asking like specifically how we're doing. So let's start with my oldest. She is doing amazing. Her one big concern about moving was the fact that she had friends where we used to live, which is always the hard part in moving. And I'm just so proud of her. Like within the first week, her coming home from school and telling me about all the friends she made. She had her first sleepover within the first 2 weeks of being here. It seems like everywhere we go, she knows somebody or has some sort of activity going on. She's actually come to us several times and just thanked us. Just thanked us for moving in the most, like, that's just not her personality at all, but she specifically come up to us and just said how grateful she is. I think just being able to be outside and go swimming and surfing whenever she wants. Oh my goodness, she's picked up on surfing so well. I'm very jealous, but also so proud of her. And she's about to start doing surf team with this school as well. And yeah, no complaints from her at all. If anything, she's just super grateful that we moved. So it's all been positive with her. My middle daughter, she's the one who's autistic, and obviously the one we had the most concerns about moving because change is really, really hard. And I'm not gonna lie, like probably the worst part was actually the travel to get here. That was hard on so many levels. I went into some of it during my travel videos, but we survived, we got here. And once we got here, she adjusted a lot quicker than I thought she would. We definitely had some issues in the beginning that we absolutely expected. But the amount of times that happened and the duration of them was a lot less than I thought. Then once she got into horseback riding, I can't tell you how much change we've seen in her. It's like she's truly found her passion and is requesting to do more and more and more. And her connection to the instructors is just amazing. And they're even been commenting about how fast, you know, she's been progressing. And yeah, like I said, she still has some issues with climate and that is totally fine, but she's definitely come a long way and doesn't feel, I don't see her saying like, I'm so hot anymore, like she did in the beginning. So, and then what else? In the beginning, she struggled with conveniences not being available, such as she loved to go to the dollar store or Walmart if she was feeling bored, things like that, which honestly, I'm kind of glad to be away from because I didn't want that to be something that she relied on ongoing. And I could do a whole video on her because she has pathological demand avoidance and how that plays into these shopping trips. But I was kind of glad to be away from those conveniences because I wanted her to find her own sense of joy and passion in other things than shopping or going to the dollar store. And we've definitely been able to do that. So yeah, that's why she was so excited to go into the capital city where they had a Walmart, because it had been several months since she's been able to do that. And honestly, I don't think it's everything that she thought it would be. So yeah, it's just really good for her on that aspect. And like I said, I could do a whole video on her, but come so far. And then my youngest, oh my goodness. First of all, she didn't really care that we were moving. Like, she just thought it was exciting. I still don't think like it really clued in that we were staying here for like a long time, but it's definitely clued in now. Her adjustment had to do with school. So she really didn't have any adjustment here at all in the home, but we had a parent-teacher conference like at the end of December like they typically do, and that's when the teacher let us know that she did struggle the first couple of weeks at school. They didn't tell us, obviously it wasn't severe enough that they needed to tell us, but the teacher wanted us to know how far she has come. So I guess in the beginning she was complaining a little bit about bugs, a little bit about being hot, things like that, because back in Canada, if she saw like the tiniest ant, it was a big deal. So obviously her school is like on this beautiful cloud farm, there's going to be bugs out where you're playing, like not necessarily in the classrooms, but like the playground is massive and there's so many fields and things like that. So in the beginning, I guess she did struggle with that a little bit, or getting overheated just from running around playing. But yeah, the teacher said it only lasted a week or two, and since then she's been doing amazing. She's made friends as well, and she's doing so many activities. So yeah, like I'm not trying to make it all positive. I'm trying to think of all the realistic, you know, changes and struggle that we've gone through, but overall it's been very, very minor, which I was prepared for a lot harder than it has been. Harrison, my husband, is doing awesome. He's no issue with internet connection because he works, obviously. He's really loving that when he gets off work, he can just go sit outside in the sun or go hop in the pool or go to the beach or whatever. So yeah, definitely happy with our decision. And then myself, I mean, I think my adjustment went just fine. Like I said, I used to get hot in the beginning. I used to like just be more sweaty, things like that, and I've definitely acclimatized. So the bugs were never an issue for me. What else? I've been spending a lot of time in gardening and figuring out what grows well here and what doesn't, and I'm trying to expand on my garden. I've really been focusing on gut health, and I'm going to be making a whole video on that and my meds and what's happening with that situation. But that's another reason why I'm really focusing on my garden, because I want to try and grow as much and consume as much of my own food as I can. But I've been meeting so many cool just healthcare professionals and naturopaths and natural remedies and things like that that are available here in Nicaragua, and exploring everything. And that's really been exciting. One thing that's been hard for me, I guess, is the fact that I've always worked, even if it was just for myself, not for like a company. Like the past 5 years, I've still been working, and that's what a lot of my time and energy has gone into. And since being here, I still have Amazon, still have stuff selling in the warehouse, but it hasn't been something I have to keep up with. So I'm having a little bit of, I don't know, identity crisis or what you would call it, about not having a specific job to work on. And I know within time I will work again, because I do love to work. I just don't know what that's going to look like, and I honestly don't want to rush into anything, because I've already had, since living here, so many ideas about things that are lacking here that I could bring to the community, but I really go with my gut on big decisions, and it just doesn't feel right yet. My gut is telling me just to focus on me and my health and my kids and my family and this new life, and to not worry so much about what you're going to do as far as work. And you'll know when the timing is right. So it's been on my mind, but I haven't been pursuing anything yet. And what's the last thing I wanted to say? Obviously, the last hard adjustment is missing family. Luckily, not luckily, but in some aspects, luckily, we had moved away already, 4 hours away from our family and friends when we lived in Kelowna, and we were there for 3 years. So although it was only 4 hours, we got used to not seeing them as frequently as we had. We got used to being away. We got used to doing a couple holidays on our own. So it wasn't like cold turkey being away, but now we're like really far away. So yeah, it's been okay so far, but I know the time's gonna come when I feel that. It's not so easy for a friend to come visit, or me just pop down 4-hour drive and visit family or anything like that. My parents are planning on visiting this weekend. I'm just waiting to find out their COVID test results to see if they can fly, because obviously COVID is going nuts, specifically where we live, but I'm sure everywhere. So I'm not going to get excited about that until I know what their COVID test results are. But they will be the first people to visit us. And then beyond that, I don't know. We have no plans of anybody else visiting in the near future, but hopefully, and we've had lots of people say they want to visit, so hopefully people do, and hopefully at some point we can get back to Canada. And in the meantime, we're just doing, you know, email, texts, phone calls, and FaceTimes. So I think that's kind of it. I know it was very rambly and not very well organized, but I'm just speaking from the heart about what our transition has been like. Overall, so much better than I anticipated. I'm so proud of everyone in our family. Oh, I guess I should mention our cats. Our cats, like, I can't even. I was so nervous about bringing my cats to the jungle because literally the jungle is like right across the street. we live kind of in the jungle. And they were inside-outside cats back in Kelowna, so it's not like they'd never been outside before. And we kept them in for a few weeks and then slowly brought them out on leashes and got them just used to the yard. And then at one point we just had to be like, okay, try it out. We just had to cross our fingers that they would go explore and come back. And not only have they done that, they will go out for like all day or all night. They are living their best life. If I can remember to include some pictures, I will. I am constantly shocked by them. They just truly, truly love exploring, and I've had to just let go of knowing where they are and knowing that they'll come home, and they do every time. And our caretaker has a cat, and so they're like a pack of 3 cats, and they go out and I don't know what they get up to, but they have an amazing time and they're loving their Nicaraguan life. So yeah, okay, I think I'll leave this video here. If you have any video requests, let me know. I'll add it to my list. Like I said, I have a big ongoing list of things that I want to film. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.